You have such an interesting and fascinating history. What are some of the highlights? If you could give us a highlight of the history of Robert Haysmith, what would that be?
Well, I've done a lot of things that I always wanted to do. I always thought the London Palladium was a wonderful place to be, and I ended up as the resident bass player there. But after that, I actually went back on stage quite a few times with various variety acts, including Lonnie Donegan and Morton Fraser's Harmonica Gang, and then with the New Vaudeville Band, the keyboard player and I from the New Vaudeville Band actually formed a stupid double act called Bobby Hayes' Orchestra and Chorus, and there were only two of us. And we ended up at the Palladium as well, doing a show there.
Really?
But I suppose one of the other big highlights was doing Vegas, way back in the crazy days with Lonnie Donegan. Vegas was fun. I mean, New Vaudeville Band was just wonderful, crazy, stupid fun for years.
For those of the people that don't know,
right,
what was the main hit of the New Vaudeville Band?
The worldwide #1, back in the days of yore, was Winchester Cathedral. Don't ask me to play it.
No.
I only ever sang it. I don't think I even played bass on it. I mean, the first time in America was way back in 1951 when I was Tiny Tim in Christmas Carol, Dickens' Christmas Carol, with Sir Ralph Richardson, who was Scrooge. That was for NBC in New York. Wrote a musical called Pollen, which we did in Bloomington in 2004.
What was that like?
That was a huge experience. Again, funnily enough, Ian and I, the keyboard player from the New Vaudeville Band, when we were on the road in England back in the 70s, having got back from crazy days in America, we were on the road, just a hard-working band, still doing the big clubs and venues like that, and he had an idea for a musical, but never got much further with it. And then after the band folded, because I left the band in 85, and the band folded in 87, we got back together again. I'd got involved in devising TV shows, of course. Got to earn a living somehow. And I met up with Ian, and that was about the same time as we did that crazy double act I'm telling you about, that we did originally just for a charity thing, and it sort of took off from there, and then sort of fizzled out. It had its moment. It was one of those kind of things. And I said, did you ever do anything with the musical? And he said, no. I just out of the blue, I said, well, do you fancy collaborating? You know, because I'd suddenly got into I'd written a load of children's stories, which I'd read on the BBC, so now all of a sudden I think I'm an author and I can do all that. And I said, do you want to collaborate? And he said, why not? And I said, have you got a story yet? He said, no. I said, have you got any songs? He said, I've got a couple. And then I said, what are you going to call it? He said, I was thinking of calling it Rainbow Garden. I said, okay. And I said, have you got this one song? And he said, yes, I got one song. Let me know what you think about it. And he recorded this song and sent it to me. And I called him and I said, Ian, it's terrible. And he said, yes, it is, isn't it? So we decided to change things, and basically we did a nice sort of shake hands deal, and we weren't going to say written by here or written by that or blah blah blah. We were going to divide everything up the middle, and if it ever made Broadway. And I said, look, let me write a story for you around even the vaguest idea. So we started writing a story. It was originally called Captain Blenkinsop. We decided to call it Captain Blenkinsop. And in our chatting and in the sort of exploratory embryonic days of a musical, I came to the conclusion that Captain Blenkinsop could actually be an oak tree in this rather magical garden. And so we have this oak tree called Captain Blenkinsop, and the reason he was called Captain Blenkinsop is because there'd been a storm and all the sheets had got blown off somebody's line and had landed on his in the tree, and it looked like the sails on a ship. And as the story developed at that stage, he had delusions of grandeur because one of his cousin oak trees, the limbs of that have been used for Nelson's flagship. Gosh, it was a very, very convoluted story.
Now, from its inception to the actual completed pollen, how long did that take?
Oh, if you think of the time that we actually decided we would do it, and it bumbled along as these things do, it was probably I'd say somewhere between 7 and 8, maybe even 9 years.
Well, thank you very much, Robert Haysmith. Thank you.
Gosh, it's a long time since I played that.